Okay, let's unpack this. What if Bitcoin isn't just a currency? What if it's something, I don't know, much, much more profound?
Mm,
Something that taps into these really deep human needs for, well, for belonging, for meaning,
mm.
maybe even for faith.
It's a pretty bold claim, definitely, comparing digital money to a belief system.
I know it sounds out there, but the parallels, when you start looking, they're genuinely surprising, aren't they?
They really are. And that's precisely the intriguing idea we're diving into today. Our deep dive, it's built on some really compelling insights, particularly from sources looking at Bitcoin as maybe a kind of cyberspace religion.
Yeah,
It challenges us, to look beyond just the algorithms and the blockchain tech.
right.
It sort of invites us to consider Bitcoin through this different lens, revealing these, well, surprising spiritual and cultural aspects, suggesting its strength might come from something way more fundamental than just the code itself.
Exactly. And our mission here in this deep dive is really to give you a shortcut to understanding these connections. Maybe you know the tech side of Bitcoin inside out, but we think you'll walk away with some real aha moments, about how belief structures, the stories we tell, actually shape value, even now in our super digital age.
Yeah, it's a journey to get some quick, but hopefully pretty thorough insight into something that I think for many just radically reframes what money even is.
Mm-hmm.
And by exploring this, we're not just getting a fresh angle on Bitcoin's resilience, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
We're also looking at how value gets created and sustained in any system, whether that's economic, social, or, yeah, something like a collective movement.
It challenges our basic assumptions about what makes something valuable in the first place.
Totally.
Okay, well, let's dive right into what our sources are calling the sacred parallels. Because, yeah, when you start looking at Bitcoin this way, the similarities to, well, our religion are really striking. Every great faith, it seems, has its foundational texts, right? Its origin story. And often there's this mysterious, almost godlike figure behind it all.
Hmm.
So what about Bitcoin? Does it have its own sacred text, its own figure shrouded in mystery?
It absolutely does. And the parallels are pretty profound when you line them up. The source material points pretty clearly to Satoshi Nakamoto's white paper as Bitcoin's, foundational sacred text.
The white paper itself. Okay.
Yeah, that short 9-page document. Bitcoin, a peer-to-peer electronic cash system.
Right.
It's not just technical specs. It lays out the core principles, the kind of immutable laws, the whole vision for this new digital thing.
Right.
For a lot of people, it functions very much like a holy scripture. It
Yeah.
dictates the rules, the ethos. It's the canon, you could say, where everything else flows from.
A digital constitution, almost. That makes sense. And then there's the enigma of Satoshi Nakamoto, this person, or maybe it was a group, who creates Bitcoin and then just disappears.
Exactly. That disappearance is, well, it's critical. Unlike founders of companies or even, other crypto projects, Satoshi just vanished after setting this thing in motion.
Yeah.
And that contributes to this almost godlike mystique. It elevates Satoshi to this figure of huge, almost divine importance in the community. The fact that nobody really knows who they are or why they left, it fosters this unique sense of decentralized leadership, too.
Ah, interesting.
It reinforces that core idea of trustless operation. It lets the idea stand on its own, not tied to one personality, like a spiritual teaching that outlives its messenger.
That's fascinating. It really is like a digital prophet delivering the message and then just stepping back, leaving the community to figure it out and build on it. But okay, every religion also needs its prophets, its disciples, right? People share the word, interpret the scripture, bring in new believers. So who are the messengers for this digital faith?
Yeah, the comparison holds up surprisingly well there, too. Our source points to individuals who played these really key roles in spreading the Bitcoin vision, essentially. Its prophets.
Like who?
Well, think of the very early adopters, like Hal Finney, the computer scientist. He received the first ever Bitcoin transaction from Satoshi himself.
Wow. Okay. The very first one.
Yeah. Or someone like Andreas Antonopoulos. He's a well-known speaker and author.
Yeah.
For years, he's been basically evangelizing Bitcoin's potential, educating millions around the world about how it works, the philosophy behind it. These folks are seen as tirelessly spreading the gospel of Bitcoin, interpreting what it means, what it could do for the world.
So they're not just tech guys or economists. They're more like visionaries, explaining the why, not just the how.
Precisely.
And then you have the followers, the actual believers.
Absolutely, the believers.
Yeah.
And the community has this affectionate term for them, the hodlers.
Ah, yes. HODLERS, hodler.
Exactly. It started as a typo on an old forum, but it became this badge of honor. These are the really steadfast members, the ones who stick with it through thick and thin. The source talks about them facing, ridicule from outsiders, being called naive or irrational.
Right? I've seen that.
They go through financial persecution during those brutal market crashes, the endless market crashes, as the source puts it. That really tests your resolve.
For sure.
But they keep this unwavering conviction. They hold on to their Bitcoin, demonstrating this deep, almost spiritual faith in its long-term future, its belief over quick profits.
Hodlers. Yeah, that term perfectly captures that commitment, doesn't it? That deep belief that the system will eventually win out. A kind of patient endurance. Okay, and here's where, for me, it gets really interesting. Because this faith, it isn't just internal, right? It shows up in tangible ways. It has its own practices, its rituals, mantras, even sacred objects.
Oh, yeah. The parallels get quite vivid, and they're really baked into the culture. The source brings up the halving event, describes it almost like a religious holiday.
The halving.
So this event, it's hard-coded into Bitcoin, happens roughly every 4 years, and it cuts the rate of new Bitcoin creation in half.
Yeah.
It's not just an economic tweak, it's this moment of collective anticipation. People in the community, they genuinely wait for it, count down to it. They make these sometimes fervent predictions about the blessings it will bring, meaning potential price jumps or renewed interest because of the increased scarcity. This scarcity, enforced by the algorithm, it's a core belief. And the halving becomes this big, celebratory, reaffirming moment for everyone involved.
That's quite an image, isn't it? This countdown to a digital blessing tied right into the code. And then there are those phrases, those memes you see flying around online. They feel like more than just jokes.
Exactly. The source calls them sacred memes. Things like, have fun staying poor, or number go up.
Yeah, those ones.
To many in the community, these aren't just quips. They're chanted like mantras on Twitter, on Reddit, Telegram, wherever. They work to reinforce the shared belief, the collective identity, that sense of belonging among the faithful. They're short, powerful statements of conviction. They communicate complex ideas and hopes very quickly, build solidarity, drive engagement. It's like a form of digital liturgy almost.
Digital liturgy, wow. So not just witty comments, but tools for group cohesion, expressing a shared view of the world. And then this idea of relics. I mean, in traditional faiths, you think of, I don't know, ancient bones or bits of cloth. But here, it's different, but maybe just as revered.
Precisely. The concept of relics finds a pretty compelling parallel. Take that story, you probably heard it, of the hard drive lost in a landfill containing billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin.
Oh, yeah. The guy who threw it out. Tragic.
Right. But it's more than just a lost item now. It's talked about with this reverence you'd usually reserve for, a holy artifact. It represents this huge, almost mythical value that's just out of reach. Its inaccessibility, the sheer theoretical wealth on it, gives it this almost spiritual significance. It becomes a cautionary tale, a symbol of potential, a reminder of Bitcoin's power and scarcity. A physical thing made sacred by its digital contents.
Wild. And for people who want to gather, share this experience, celebrate together, there are actual physical places too, right?
Absolutely. The source mentions Bitcoin conferences happening all over the world. And these are just your typical industry trade shows. The material describes them more like places of worship, or maybe large-scale pilgrimages.
Really? Like worship?
Yeah, I mean, think about it. Thousands gather. They're cheering for speakers, having these intense group discussions, listening to people who are basically their favorite preachers up on stage.
Okay, I can see that.
These gatherings create this really palpable, collective, almost spiritual energy, reinforcing that shared identity, the purpose of the whole Bitcoin movement, their chances to strengthen belief, swap stories, celebrate how far things have come.
It's quite a picture when you lay it all out like that. The texts, the prophet figure, the messengers, the rituals, the mantras, the relics, these big gatherings. But then, okay, the crucial question. So what? What does all this mean? Why might these parallels exist? And what kind of strength does this give Bitcoin? Is it just a quirky analogy, or is there something really fundamental here? Something that helps us understand why it's been so resilient, why it holds value, especially for people who already get the tech side.
Yeah, that's the core of it, isn't it?
Yeah.
And this is where the source offers this really powerful insight. It's simple, but kind of revolutionary. Money is a story, always has been.
Money is a story.
It's not just a clever line. It's fundamental to how humans assign value. Think historically. Why was gold valuable?
Because it's rare, shiny. People agreed it was.
Exactly. It's scarce. Sure, it looks nice. It doesn't corrode.
Yeah.
But ultimately, cultures agreed it was valuable. They told a story about it being a medium of exchange, a store of value. There's nothing intrinsically useful about gold beyond that shared story, that collective agreement.
So the value isn't in the gold itself, but in the story about the gold that we all buy into.
Precisely. And the same goes for fiat money. The dollars, euros, yen in your pocket. That paper has zero intrinsic worth.
Right.
It's valuable only because we, collectively, as a society, agree to trust the governments and central banks backing it. We trust them to manage the supply, keep it stable. That trust, that shared belief in the system, that's the story that gives fiat money its power. It's a social contract.
Okay, so if money has always been a story, then Bitcoin must be, what, a new kind of story?
Yeah.
A different narrative for value.
Exactly. And this is where those religious parallels become so powerful and explanatory. The source argues straight up. It works because millions of people believe. Belief creates value. Faith holds the system together.
Right.
But what's really unique here is the nature of this belief and how its story is built. Unlike gold, where the value is sort of a historical accident or agreement, or fiat, which relies on trusting a central authority, a government, Bitcoin's story is decentralized. It's secured by cryptography. Its scarcity isn't decided by a mining company or the Fed chairman. It's dictated by open source code. Its transactions aren't verified by a bank, but by this global network of independent computers.
So it's a story of value built on math and code, not just trust in people or institutions. It's trustless, but in the sense you don't need to trust any one entity.
Exactly. The faith isn't placed in a specific leader or organization, but in the integrity of the network itself and the predictable rules written into the code. This programmatic, transparent, unchangeable nature of Bitcoin's tech enables those religious parallels we talked about.
I see the connection now.
The halving isn't just a tradition. It's an immutable rule in the protocol, ensuring that predictable scarcity. It's like a technological commandment that underpins the whole economic faith of the community.
Yeah.
The fact that there's a fixed supply, that anyone can verify it, that gives Bitcoin's story a unique kind of digital truth, you might say. And that offers a really potent explanation for Bitcoin's incredible resilience, its growth, beyond just the tech specs or standard economics.
Right.
It shows how a globally distributed belief system, enforced by algorithms, can create and sustain value on a scale we've never really seen before.
It really is a potential paradigm shift, isn't it, in how we think about not just digital money, but maybe the whole mechanism of how value gets assigned in the modern world. It suggests that even in this age of big data and AI, human belief, that's still the ultimate engine of value. What a fascinating journey through this deep dive. We've explored this idea that Bitcoin might be more than just digital cash. It could be, as the source suggests, maybe the first religion born in cyberspace. A faith with no borders, no physical churches, no gods. Well, except perhaps for that one mysterious creator who walked away, leaving behind this new digital scripture.
And that leads us to a final, maybe provocative question for you, our listener, to kind of mull over after this deep dive. If money truly is a story, and Bitcoin's story is built on this collective belief, this programmatic trust, then the question becomes, are you just an observer of this unfolding digital faith? Or are you maybe already a believer without even realizing it? Perhaps in the way you value decentralization or true scarcity or freedom from the old financial rails.
Interesting.
What does your own belief system tell you of the future of value? And how do you choose to participate in whatever comes next?